It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead.
We in the studios of Unity 93.3 this lovely Friday morning. Thank God it's Friday, and of course it happens to be the very last Friday of the year 2023. It has been a lovely year, and we give it to God for being faithful. We give it to God for being lovely. We give it to God for being God over our lives. And so this morning, even though some of us would still be wondering and not really being so happy about what they feel is not an achievement to them, I want you to remember something, that the life that you still have, even inside of you today, it's something to give praise and thank God for it. You have been able, to see the last Friday of the year 2023, despite all the challenges, all that we have been through, or you have been through, and here you are still alive. You might not be physically sound, maybe health-related issue, but I tell you that you are alive. Keep trusting God that you will be healed even today or anytime soon. And that's my prayer for you and for everyone. Thank you so much for keeping your dialogue to this very station, Unity 93.3 FM and TV. We're reaching you live from the city of Jos, to be precise, Jos North Plateau State, Nigeria. The home of peace and tourism. And so Iji Adamu remains my name. In the studio this morning is Professor Bamayi, and he'll be saying a very big good morning to our listener and our viewer. And of course I know, because he's fully aware, that today happens to be the last Friday of this very year, not only of this month, and it's the last edition of Unity Train for this year. Wow. Prof, good morning.
You know how time flies, could be. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's just like yesterday we started 2023. Now we are bidding 2023 bye-bye. This is the last Friday. In a few days' time, we'll be in 2024. Good morning, our viewers and our listeners. It's a beautiful Friday morning. I want to say Jumaat Karim to our Muslim faithfuls. It's a beautiful day of worship. It's a beautiful day to reflect on God's mercies, God's protection, God's provision, God's grace. This is 93.3 FM radio and Unity TV. Please stay tuned. We'll be having a very fantastic time this morning, or whatever time it is, wherever you are in the world. And please, let's continue to be peaceful. Let's remain united. Socrates, the legendary 15th century philosopher, said there is no perfect man on earth. That the only perfect man that exists is all humans put together. There is no perfect man on earth. The only perfect man that exists is the whole of humanity, all humans put together as one, may be tending towards a perfect man. That means that we should work together. We should be united. We should support each other. We should be interested in the progress of each other. We should not antagonize each other. So let's remain peaceful. Let's remain united. Let's remain resilient. No matter how difficult things get, one day we'll get to our promised land.
Oh, thank you so much, Prof, for that. This morning we have a few headlines as usual to go through. This is a review segment, by the way, so please stay tuned and enjoy it. Naira falls to 1043 Naira per dollar. And then we have another one. This one has to do with court remands a woman for stabbing house help to death. This kind of story keeps coming on. The issues of people killing the very people whom they would have been the first to protect. It's quite unfortunate. And this one is saying Boas Cement will fully implement 3,500 per bag price from January 2024. Abdul Saman, okay. All right, and okay, that's the much I think somehow. We'll also look at Plateau issue, very brief too.
Absolutely.
So, Prof, where do we start actually?
Well, let's begin from home, if you ask me, because Plateau State is home to all of us.
Yes.
And the same news that has been trending for days has continued, up to this moment. And I'm happy with the diversity of people who are expressing the same opinion.
Okay.
The Sultan has come out to condemn what happened on the plateau, calling on the security forces to up their game and not continue to be behind these terrorists. Why is it that the terrorists are always 2-3 steps ahead of our security forces? That's the concern of His Eminence, the Sultan of Sokoto. And that should be the concern of all of us. JNI has come out to say it looks as if human lives doesn't mean anything again in Nigeria. And so this is unfortunate. The death toll is rising because they are recovering more corpses from the bushes, from hills and other hideouts where these people ran to. And some of those in the hospital, because of the gravity of their injuries and wounds, have given up the ghost. And so it's a concern to all of us on the plateau, and indeed the whole of the country. In fact, it has assumed an international dimension because the United Nations has come out to tell Nigerian government it is high time you end all this terrorism across the country, especially on the plateau. The plateau has not experienced peace for several years. Anytime it looks as if we have experienced peace and we are celebrating and rejoicing that we've stayed for maybe 6 months without any attack, suddenly something will just happen. And it is not good for our state. It is not good for our country. So it is high time our politicians should wake up. It is high time that our security forces should wake up. Just in the last 2 days, they have promoted about 47 brigadier generals to the rank of major general. And those where colonels have become brigadier generals. And I ask myself, what is there to show for all the many major generals that we have in the army today? My own contemporaries in the army have been major generals for about 4 or 5 years now. But what is it that is there to show for being major generals, lieutenant generals, or full generals in the army? What is there for us to show that we've been able to do great and mighty things as security forces? Because Boko Haram is still alive and active. ISWAP is still alive and active. IPOB still alive and active. The bandits still alive and active. Kidnappers still alive and active. Herdsmen terrorists still alive and active. And more terrorist groups are even coming up. There is one Ansaruddin, whatever they call themselves, and you have attacks across the country. We even have unknown gunmen. They have no name, they have no affiliation, and they are operating around the country. And we keep having these security hitches, these killings. Within the last 6 months, more than 5,000 innocent Nigerians have been killed due to one terrorist attack, one thing or the other. And what is there to celebrate that we're having new major generals, people who are promoted? I think it is high time our security forces should go back to the drawing board and sit down and ask themselves, is it worth it? Is it worth it that we are called, military, we are called Nigerian Army, Nigerian Air Force, Nigerian Navy, Nigerian Police, and all the rest of them? What has been our achievement? Granted, they have achieved some small things here and there, modest, little tiny achievements here and there. They have been able to, deal a deadly blow to a few terrorists. But when you compare it overall to how many people the terrorists have killed, I mean that you will not give a pass mark to our security forces. So it is high time that something is done. So here on the plateau, let's continue to remain peaceful. Plateau people are known for peace and tranquility. Let's remain peaceful and resolute. But at the same time, we must remain vigilant, because there is already an alert that there might be another attack again. This alert is not coming from official sources, but it's coming from a group, a concerned group, because the terrorists threw some leaflets warning that they are going to attack any day from today. And it was the same thing that happened days and weeks ago, and the security forces did not do anything. And today we have this bloodbath of about 200 people and more than 300 injured in our various hospitals. So I think the security forces should take this alert, this security warning serious, that these guys are coming back. These terrorists, barbaric terrorists, are coming back to launch yet another attack. I expect that by now, all the villages around the plateau, the communities, security should be reinforced by the police, by the military, by the NSCDC, and everybody that is concerned. Neighborhood security and all the rest of them, Operation 7, Operation Rainbow, everybody should come out and ensure that this new threat of a security breach does not succeed. Because if it does, it is going to be unfortunate. I mean that people will just give up completely about the security forces in this country.
Right away from that, Prof, let's look at this. This one says marriage of 4-year-old minor to a 54-year man, criminal, illegal child rights groups. Oh, man.
Oh, man. It's amazing. A 4-year-old marrying one man, they call him Elder Akos, who is about 54 years old. 54. Elder Akos is 54 years old, and this minor is 4 years old. And you would quickly maybe want to put all the blame on Elder Akos. But the minor was the one that said that this Akos of a man used to be her husband in her previous life. And that he died mysteriously. And so when she returned back in this new life, she has been looking for him while she was seeking where to be born. And finally she was born in the family where she was born in Bayelsa State. And she told her parents that they must get her married to this Akos because he was her husband in her previous life.
Continue to be.
So he must continue to be her husband. In fact, she threatened that she was just going to die if they don't get her married to this Akos. So it was a dilemma.
Yes,
so the family had to organize a traditional wedding and get them married. Now, a lot of things happen in the realms that our physical eyes do not see. This is not my first time of coming across such a mysterious account. Many years ago, about 20 years ago, I met a young lady. She told me that she has lived in another life before. In fact, she told me that she and her brother belonged to another family, and that to punish their parents, they decided to die. And that when they died, they saw how their parents were weeping and crying, and they saw how they were buried and everything that took place. And they now decided to suffice again in another family, in Delta State. And so when we were talking, she was like, now she is in another family, that she has been living in different families. And I wondered, how do you explain, all this? Yes, it sounds very mysterious.
It is.
This is the stage at which we have to go spiritual, as it were. Because this young lady is saying, this was my husband in my previous life. So he has to be my husband now. So they got married. And, well, as far as the spiritual dimension is concerned, there is nothing wrong. She has lived before in another life. And she's living now. She's 4 years old. But she's actually many years old as far as the spiritual is concerned. Just this young lady was telling me about 20 years ago. Well, then she was just about like 20, 21 years old. But she said she's many years old because she has lived for a certain number of years in different families in different parts of the world, as it were. But we are being scientific. As far as science is concerned, this girl is 4 years old.
Yes.
Of course, you are 54 years old.
It
is illegal. A boss should be arrested and dealt with according to the law. And not only a boss, but the parents who are supporting this unholy union. They should be arrested. This union should not be allowed to stay. It must not stand. Because the girl is 4 years old physically. In science, we deal with what we're seeing physically. And just because she has lived in another world and they're getting married, she's 4 years old. She's not going to suddenly turn and become 30 years old physically. So we are going by what we're seeing physically, because in science, seeing is believing. All right? So as far as the law of the land is concerned, as far as science is concerned, as far as morality is concerned, what the parents did is wrong. To marry out a 4-year-old girl in Bayelsa State to a 54-year-old man is inhuman, is illegal, is wicked, and it should not stand. They should be arrested, and I hope that the NGO that has taken up the case will ensure that that case gets to a logical conclusion. We must not tolerate this in our society.
Another one here, Chief Magistrate's Court in Kano on Wednesday ordered the remand of 24-year-old housewife Hafsat Surajo in a correctional center for allegedly stabbing her house help to death.
Yeah, you know Hafsat Surajo, what happened was she wanted to commit suicide. For whatever reasons, we understand that she was passing through difficult times, depression. I think there was a problem with the husband and all that. So Hafsat, who stays in Kano, they call the place Angwan Uku, area of Kano metropolis, decided that she was going to take her life. At the time, she carried a knife to stab herself. One of her house helps, one of the men who work in the house, nephew just stepped in at that point and saw that Hafsat was about to stab herself. And he prevailed on her. He prevailed on her not to stab herself, seized the knife from her. In fact, he even got a bit injured in the process of trying to seize the knife from Hafsat, so she would not kill herself. And the details of the story showed that this household, he was not feeling fine. He wasn't very well. And so after seizing the knife from her, he thought that was the end of it. So he decided to lie down, and the knife was lying by his side. Then Hafsat came out I think from the kitchen also, and she saw nephew lying down because he had complained he wasn't feeling fine, and she saw the knife lying down by his side. She thought, this is my opportunity. She quickly went for the knife, and this time around, instead of killing herself as she has wanted, she decided to target the man that stopped her from committing suicide. She stabbed her nephew several times. She stabbed him several times. By the time neighbors or anybody could intervene, carry the man to the hospital, he had already given up. He was already dead. And so you can imagine, this young lady, 24 years old, somebody stopped you from committing suicide, and that became an offense for which you decided to kill the person for stopping you from killing yourself. What is the offense of this young man? He just felt, let me help you. You want to kill yourself. You don't know what you're doing. Stop it. And because of that, he has lost his life. You see the reason why sometimes people don't even want to be good. They don't want to help people. Because some people have tried to intervene in fights that are not their own. They just met some people fighting on the street and they decided to intervene and they ended up as casualties. We had a friend who saw somebody called him that people were fighting and he went there to intervene. And when he got there, they stabbed him. He was the one that was stabbed. He that came to stop the people from fighting. So this young man intervened to save the life of Hafsat and he became a casualty. But Hafsat has been arrested and she will be charged 2 major offenses. One, her attempt to commit suicide is an offense.
Yes.
As far as the Federal Republic of Nigeria is concerned. And then she'll be charged for culpable homicide for killing her nephew who tried to save her life. And we hope that the time she will spend in prison and whatever sentence will be given to her probably will reset her brain and make her come back to her senses. And we hope that she will pay the full penalty for this crime, for taking the life of a young man who only meant well for her.
Yes, Prof, like you said, especially now that prisons are said to be called now as correctional centers. And so we hope and pray that this very individual of a lady would find it worthy to have herself, go through the training and whatever rehabilitations that is there for them, so that she would have herself fixed, because ordinarily you would hardly want to believe that this is from someone who is mentally stable. Yes, and so, well, let's go to talk a little about Naira falls to 107 per dollar. I don't know what to make of this. We're having a lot of issues, but it's been a while that we haven't got to talk about the issues of Naira, depreciating or appreciating to dollar. Except, of course, this morning, maybe we'll get to talk a little because we have but a few moments to go on this very segment.
The fall of the Naira to 1,043 Naira is even on the official investor and exporter foreign exchange window.
Okay.
Yesterday, on Thursday. So it is not even in the black market. In the black market, the Naira is going for 1,200 to a US dollar in places like Jos here. I was at the Bureau de Change. I have a friend there. And so I was asking him, how much are you going to buy? Dollar now. If there is dollar, I didn't have any dollar to give him, but once in a while, I used to go there, some time ago. And so in Jos, as of 3-4 days back, it is $1 to 1,150 Naira to 1,200 Naira to a dollar. In some parts of the country, like Lagos, you will get $1 for 230, for $1 for 1,230, $1 for 1,300 Naira. And things are actually getting worse, not really any better. In fact, if care is not taken, before the middle of next year, it will be $1 to 1,500. As against what we have now, $1 to 1,300 Naira. Why? Because the government is not doing anything tangible to help the Naira. So the Naira is having a free fall. And it's just falling and falling and falling. And market forces and speculations are determining the strength of the Naira. And of course, because our economy is extremely weak, in bad shape, and even governance, the politics of the country is in crisis. We have a security crisis. We have all manner of crisis within the country. And the people are suffering, economic hardships and all that. The Naira is not going to regain strength anytime soon. Except the federal government do the needful, the Central Bank of Nigeria do the needful, and they know what to do. but the willpower to do it, I think that's where the problem is.
That has always been the
That has always been the problem.
The
willpower. So we hope that they will put in measures in place that will strengthen the Naira. If they want the Naira to be strengthened, we need to talk about more investment within the country. We need to talk about importing less and exporting more. We need to talk about fixing our refineries so we can refine our own crude oil here within the country. Like the Port Harcourt refinery that they say has started working, we need to have more of such across the country. Fix all our major refineries and refine our crude ourselves and consume it within the country. We will need to talk about producing what we consume within our country. That way, we'll be strengthening the Naira as we get people more gainfully employed, build more factories across the country, and by the time we are putting in all these measures in place, the Naira will gain more strength. The Naira will be more attractive. Because, let me tell you now, if you go and you want to pay people in Naira or dollars, of course, you don't need anybody to tell you. They'll prefer to be paid in dollars.
Yes.
In fact, we've even said on this platform that if you want to save your money, save it in dollars. Because the Naira is unpredictable.
Yes.
The Naira is not stable. The Naira just keeps falling and falling and falling because of bad leadership, because of bad economic policies within the country, because there is not enough investment within the country, because the policies that we are having are against the growth of the economy of the country. And so the Naira keeps falling and falling until the needful is done. We will not see the Naira recovering its strength.
I would have loved we get to look at this issue. Prof. Boa Cement, who would fully implement the 3,500 Naira per bag price from January.
They have actually started implementing. What they are saying is that Boa Cement is saying even in 2024, we will continue to leave our bag of cement at 3,500 Naira. So the 50 kg bag of cement will still remain 3,500 Naira. And this is highly commendable because this is going to help us to build, do a lot of construction. It shows that the Boa company is sensitive to the plight of Nigerians, and we must commend them that they are doing fantastically well when it comes to giving back to the society, when it comes to alleviating the sufferings. And that's not the only thing. They have done so many things in our high institutions and across the country, and we need to really commend Boa Cement and Boa as a company. We need to commend the owner of Boa Cement and all the workers there. They have been doing fantastically well, and Nigerians must celebrate people like this who are sensitive to the plights of Nigerians.
All right, it's a minute for us to go. And Prof, this is the very last edition of Unity Train for this year. I'm sure you would want to say something even before we pack our loads and get out of this very segment of Unity Train.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic year, Kobe. Viewers and listeners, it's been wonderful and fantastic. This is the last edition of Unity Train in the year 2023. The next time we meet again, it will be 2024. So I want to wish all of us a happy new year. Please remember to set goals and targets for the year 2024. Pursue them. Don't give up along the way. Ensure that you achieve your goals in 2024. From us here in Unity Train, we want to tell you, listeners and viewers, we love you, and we wish you all the best in the new year. And it is our prayer that in the year 2024, we will even meet at higher levels, and that we'll be able to do more, and that our nation, Nigeria, will experience peace, will experience tranquility, and will experience a lot of fantastic progress. So thank you for being ardent listeners and viewers on Unity 93.3 FM and Unity TV. It's been a wonderful time. We've had fantastic times together, and in the year 2024, let's do even more.
So, it's now left for you and myself. Let's be deliberate to do more even as we trust God to see 2024. Thank you so much. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this short time out.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion? How was your...
Please pay attention. It starts from the foundation. Everybody needs somebody. Everybody needs some love. You turn a blind eye and care nothing less. Say it's just business, all about the money. You are so unbothered as long as they pay. Say it's just business, all about the money. You know they're on a fast lane, but you've got business to run. So you look away the other way.
It concerns you. It kill love, it kill dreams. It land people for jail. War against drug abuse.
Unity. Unity TV.
Get ready to be entertained and inspired by the incredible stories around the globe. Don't miss out on the excitement. Hello at Work is an ultimate TV program that brings to you the interesting stories and daily happenings worldwide. Join us Mondays and Thursdays 10 a.m. as we dive into the daily happenings and stories. Tune in and stay. Say hello to the world as you bring in your ideas, as it is a perfect blend of entertainment and information. Get ready to stay up to date while being entertained.
Are you bored and need some company? Get a TV experience like no other on Unity TV. We are turning up the hits with captivating TV shows, electrifying political programs, music, movies, and lots more that will leave you craving. I'm sure you want to know more. Tune in to Unity TV today and let the excitement take over.
The Financial Services Regulation Coordinating Committee, FSRCC, in collaboration with the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, wishes to draw the attention of the public to the worrisome increase in the activities of illegal financial operators, IFOs, which threaten public trust and the stability of the Nigerian financial system. The FSRCC and NBC hereby advise
Mr. Politician, it's good to
so
see
much for staying tuned with us on this very station, Unity 93.3 FM, and I'm so happy actually, and I must say this to you even right now because this is the very last edition of Unity Train on Unity 93.3 FM, for this very year, 2023. And I would love to say congratulations to our listener and our viewer even today for being a part of this very program from the very beginning of the year even up to this very moment. And I pray God in His infinite grace, mercy, and love, of course, would again and again continue to be God over our lives. And I look forward that His grace and mercy, that which endures forever, He will not cease to be gracious to you and my humble self, and we'll get to see the year 2024. And of course, you've done so much for us on this platform, for being there all the time, even calling, spending in your resources. And again, you have been calling sometimes at personal level to make some good suggestions, and we want to say thank you. You have served a great deal, being a source of encouragement and inspirations to us on this platform. So if there is anything to be so happy about with this platform, it is because you have always decided to be there with us. And so thank you. I beg that we will continue to do this. Of course, it's Friday, and thank God it is. And it's the 29th day in this very month. And so this is Unity Train, by the way. And so I'm sure you know about it. I have in the studio Professor P.H. Bamayi. He is in the studio. Together we have exhausted the last segment of Unity Train review segment, and this is transit segment. He's in the studio, and he'll be saying a very big good morning to our listener and our viewer even now. Prof, once again, if you don't mind, good morning.
Good morning, Kubi. Viewers, listeners, a big good morning to you. It's a beautiful day. We're grateful to be counted among the living. We thank God for His grace. We thank Him for His mercies. And Jum'at Mubarak to our Muslim faithfuls. It's a beautiful Friday. As you go to the mosque to pray for the peace of Nigeria.
Yes, as you go to pray, even as you stay tuned with us, let's continue to pray for the peace of Plateau and, by extension, Nigeria. All right, we'll be looking at the security policies and strategies in Plateau State. But before then, why don't we take a look at this statistics, okay? In September 2001, Jos Plateau, we had a religious crisis, and in this very state, over 2,000 people were killed. And again, in November 2008, another Jos North crisis happened then, and that was as a result of elections, and so it was called post-elections violence. But that too was turned into religious crisis, where we lost over 1,000 people. Okay, Plateau people, Nigerians, human beings, okay? And on January 17th to 20th of 2010, another religious crisis, and that was when we began to hear the issue of fake soldiers, also the issues of secret killings, where your loved ones, got missing, and some up to this very moment were not found. So we had over 1,000 people killed, and over 3,000 refugees. And then maybe I'll just end at this by saying on the 7th of March 2010, we remember the Zot, the Dogo Nahawa, and Rastat village near Jos, another one there. And so these things have continued. And up to this very moment, we have issues of unrest. This time not in the city of Jos, but the surrounding villages of this very great city, Jos. All right, and so we would want to talk about this and more. This is because, like most of our callers would say, peace is priceless. There is no amount of time given to issues of peace that would be a waste of time. And so on this platform, and for this organization, it's something we will continue to talk about, because the impact cannot be measured. If we keep quiet about it, it might degenerate into something very, very soon. And so please, let's talk about this together and see how better we could make this country become greater. Prof.
Yes, could be. The statistics is heartbreaking. We've lost thousands of lives since 2001. And it is heartbreaking, very disheartening, what has happened on the plateau. You know, sometimes I said to myself, what has happened to the plateau we used to know? The plateau of the 80s, the plateau of the 90s, the plateau that was home to everybody, that we didn't have religious riots and killings and all such. What has happened to our plateau?
What has happened to our plateau?
And the government has a very important role to play. I'm having the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria here on my phone. Every Nigerian should have a copy of the Constitution of Nigeria. The 1999 Constitution of Nigeria. Section 14, subsection 1, says the Federal Republic of Nigeria shall be a state based on the principles of democracy and social justice. Social justice is very important, it's key. But this section 14, subsection 2b says, and I quote, the security and welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of government. The security and welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of government. Now, in all these killings that we're talking about, the government is supposed to play a key role when it comes to security and welfare. You know, we are supposed to be an organized society. Societies organize themselves to have governments, to have leaders over them. And when that happened, we gave the right, the security, and all that to the government. So the individuals are not supposed to be the ones providing their own security. It is the government's. But you look at all these series of killings, what has the government done? All the government does is, well, come and quell the riots, come and stop the violence, and then go back and leave people with wounds, with injustice. And where there is no justice, you cannot have peace. The government is supposed to do more than the government did over the last 22 or more years on the plateau. The state government, the federal government. If we want sustainable peace, we must sit at the table of dialogue and discuss and ask ourselves, what is the reason for all these killings? Why are we having violence? What is the root cause of violence on the plateau? You know, that is the big elephant that we are not really addressing. We'll try to pretend that the elephant is not there. But the big elephant is staring us in the room. What is the cause of the violence? We are scratching the symptoms, touching the symptoms. We are not looking at the root cause. And as long as we don't look at the root cause, all we'll just be doing will be some kind of palliative treatment, symptomatic treatment, without addressing the root cause, and the violence will keep reoccurring. It will become a reoccurring desmond. And you can see how polarized our society has become. On the plateau, Muslims stay in one part, Christians stay in one part. Unlike the plateau we used to know, when your next door neighbor is a Christian or is a Muslim, people of different religion and background, and everybody live peacefully. During Christmas, celebrate. During Salah, celebrate. Everybody was at peace. But now, if somebody is coming newly into the plateau, and the person is a Muslim, he's going to ask, where do Muslims stay? I need a house. And they will say, don't stay in that place, because Christians are majority. Come and stay here. The same thing, a Christian comes to the city of Jos, and he needs a place to stay. People will tell him, no, don't stay in that place. There are Muslims there. Come and stay where Christians are. It's like an apartheid kind of system. It's a segregative kind of society. We've segregated ourselves into Christians and Muslims in the same state, in the same city, and it is not good for our society. That integration is not there. That cohesion, that love and unity and peace is no more there. You're suspecting your neighbor. you're suspecting your friend, you're suspecting your colleague, and that doesn't all go well for the development of the society. And that is why I'm saying that the government needs to address this headlong. Take the bull by the horns. Let's sit down and talk for the next 1, 2, 3 days, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year. Let's keep talking solution to the problem, and let's keep acting solution to the problem. Otherwise, this problem will never be solved. It will only be solved at the table of dialogue. All the killings will not solve the problem. Reprisal attacks, counter killings will not solve the problem. We'll need to sit down as human beings and tell ourselves what is the cause of the problem, what are we supposed to do, and agree to disagree, and disagree to agree, and decide that we want to live together peacefully as brethren.
All right, thank you. I look forward to the days when we shall return to good old days where we coexisted peacefully. This can only be possible when we eschew bitterness, forgiveness, hatred, suspicion, disrespect, and intolerance, amongst other things that are capable of provoking chaos, anarchy, which could escalate or lead to further disruption of the already fragile peace in the state. We have been joined in the studio this morning by a security and peace and security experts, Mr. Godwin Okon is in the studio this morning, and so I would love to have him say a very big good morning to our listener and, of course, our viewer.
Good morning, listeners. Good morning, viewers. Good morning, Colby, and also the other guest in the house.
Thank you so much. You've heard from him. That's his voice. He's a son of the soil. He's one that we cannot forget. From the sound of his voice alone, you remember PLATEAU Peace Building Agency. Yes, at one time he's been there, and so. But well, we'll not talk about his profile so much here. Let's just go into the business of the day because it's a very hard one. Mr. Goldman, before you came in, we just tried to look at some statistic, some killings, some violence that took place in the city of Jos. But that I will not go to it even now. I just want us to look at with any indication of insecurity. You know, we've experienced lots and lots, and we are still experiencing lots of violence, killings on the plateau. At sometimes in the city, at other times in the villages. So what do you think? It's often said when you see such, it's mostly either the problem of policy or strategies. So what would you say is the problem? Is it the security policy or strategy?
Thank you very much. I will want to join my voice to the global society who have also condemned totally these unjustifiable acts. Totally, for me, it's an evil act. It is not human in any nature. And also to empathize and sympathize with families that are directly affected. I pray the Lord console everyone that is affected by this. It was actually a very frustrating situation. It's quite a painful one. We're talking about a time that all people of all race and religion are supposed to come together to celebrate the birth of our Lord Jesus Christ, and then unfortunately it's also a very sad story at the end of the day.
So to say.
The situation, like our daddy said, is not far-fetched. That's just the reality. It is issues of strategy, lack of effective strategy, lack of people-oriented policy.
Okay.
It's also part of it, but we will have to look at this. And I told someone yesterday while one of the media houses, I said, take a look at from 2010 to 11. We never had a very peaceful Christmas celebration in the plateau. In 2011, remember, we had the bomb blast and all that took place on the plateau. We had very challenging period during the festive periods, and that also enhanced security presence across several communities during Christmas and Salah celebrations as well. And I can remember in the Lalon administration, there was some improvement around that.
In the city.
Yes, and, and then people think that all is well. And then now we're back to the trenches again. And for me, it's that part of the challenges that I have, that there were early warning information from community people stating these and these informations that we gotten. Yes, I am not saying that all those kind of informations that fly around are facts. But what our security agencies doing around analyzing, around doing checks on those kind of information to verify, to see if there are iota of truth, what are they doing around enhancing security within those environments? Hundreds of lives are lost, and year in year for 1 decade, 10 good years, could it be? And then we are having government at all levels coming. We condemn. It is unacceptable. It is this. It is that. Words without action. And if there is anything that has allowed this situation to thrive, is impunity. That the people who carry those heinous acts feel at any time they can wake up and act and go away. And these people don't belong to any religion or any tribe. They are criminals and they should be treated as such. I have said it again that we saw how security agencies, even here on the plateau, deployed all their intelligences to be able to unravel those that were responsible for killing one of our generals here on the plateau. A general was killed, dumped into the world. And after some days, they did everything within available resources to ensure that those responsible were brought to justice. And we celebrated it because I was one of those on the forefront to condemn the killing of that innocent general. He served our country well. We saw how they deployed to even arrest those that killed an innocent local army chief here, down to Lagos or Ogun State, and they brought him to justice. This is how we want to see happening across. And then we're talking about hundreds of lives. There are no VIP lives as far as the Constitution of Nigeria is concerned. We are all equal before the law and before the eyes of God. This should be done. You hear allegations that some of those criminals are hiding here and there. Let them take measures in place. This is not to say that the security agencies are not working. But beyond that, I think they are getting overwhelmed. You have them in the northeast, the northwest, the north central, the south, and all that. It is time to begin to see how we can strengthen our local security apparatus. What are we doing around strengthening this vigilante groups across communities? What are we doing around empowering? What is Operation Rainbow doing? What was it created for? Do we have to dwell and wait on the federal government all the time? And then there is nothing that brings down to the lowest in terms of the human value. Your inability to stay within your comfort zone. Shelter is not there, food is not there, water is everything you depend. It happened, they say SEMA is on the way, they say NEMA is on the way, relief materials are going. It's not honorable in any way. I saw just a few days ago, I saw the pictures of the current governor of Plateau State, the former governors of Plateau States, waiting at the airport to receive His Excellency the Vice President. I say, wow, this is interesting. This is good. So they can be able to come together as such. What are they doing all these years with all that is happening on the plateau? Can they bring their wealth of experience together, sit on the table of dialogue like Daddy has said, look into the issues vis-a-vis? Where are the gaps? What are the still pending and substantive conflict issues on the plateau? What are the emerging conflict issues and security issues on the plateau? How can we together harness our resources to address those concerns? And then we divide ourselves across political lines. And then people are there that we are coming together to begin to cry together. In the moment of peace, in the moments of cessation of violence, is the opportunity for us, all of us, to sit down and dialogue, look thoroughly into the issues and find a amicable and acceptable and actionable way out of it. So I want to see beyond that, all of them should come together. The retired generals should come together. People of all tribes and religion on the plateau should sit on the table. The truth is, like he said, nothing, anything that dialogue cannot give you, violence will not give you. Violence will only subdue it for a moment, but it will not. But again, I tell people, hey, I have been on this field for over 15 years. Please do not mistake criminality for part of peace building process. It is not. You must be able to separate crime and the peace building process. Because the criminal aspect of what we're talking about are the things that are reversing the gains and the efforts of all that we have done collectively as a people, as institutions. Non-governmental organizations that worked. We'll search for common ground, Mercy, Tier Fund, call them all the virus, the Plateau Peace Practitioners Network, which is done, have all worked greatly. Billions have been seen so that people can live on peace with each other on the plateau. Media houses are not left out of it. Then the political class should ensure that they strengthen the faulty lines of our divisions. They should not leverage on them. It is not time to portion blames. It is time, and I think that it's time for His Excellency, the governor of the state, to convey a plateau dialogue so that we can look at where are the gaps. And in conveying this particular, it must be devoid of any political attachments. It's about the plateau. It's about sustaining peace of the plateau. Without the peace, the governor can do nothing. Like you said, the painful aspect of this is not the current visitations, the empathetic visit that people are receiving, but what happened thereafter. There are people still in camp from the attacks that took place earlier this year in Mango and other parts of the state. What are efforts put in place to restore them back to their homes? The security agencies, I think it is time. What are the exit strategies even for Operation Safe Haven? For how long will they be here? Is it hereditary, their presence here? Let them begin to put our exit strategy within that and how to transfer. We have this police, we have local security agencies. How can they work together? Is there coordination among all those agencies? I'm wondering if there is. It's like it's beyond moving the defense headquarters, special command zone to this and this. Please station them in those communities. Move away from hill station. It's not time for comfort any longer. Go to those local communities, stay with them, work with them, and then we should also say to the local communities, you get it, live there with them, understand what they go through. And I tell you truly, everywhere I said it, that our armies are doing the great things for this country. They need our support. They are not magicians. But beyond that also, that it's not time to live around the hill station quarters any longer. Go to those areas, stay with the people. If there are conduct all your operations around. Ensure the places are safe. You see, the painful aspect is that when people are driven out of their villages, they move to where they think it is safe for a while.
Just for a while.
And while they are there, everybody forgets everything. And even the confidence to return back to those areas becomes another challenge. And then those places are abandoned. No. Provide all the security support for them. Let them return back. It's a problem. And this problem has not been fixed. Now, initially, people were not allowed to go to their farms. So you know that we're talking about hunger in some few months to come. And then those that managed to go to their farms were able to harvest. What they have harvested has been destroyed. What are they going to eat? And government don't have all the resources. And I think that we can appreciate the government at all levels for the efforts they have done. But beyond this, see, we cannot lie to ourselves. It is either we come together as a people, irrespective of the different tribes and ethnicity, religion and all what have you, to look at this issue on the basis of our common humanity. Put away every sentiment and attachment and come up with workable and acceptable solutions.
Oh my.
It is painful and it is frustrating, and I can just imagine the pains those mothers, the people are going through. I saw some of the gory videos and pictures. They are not things that will allow you sleep well. And we cannot pretend all it is well. Beyond the rhetorics, we want to see action. We must know all lives must not be lost before things are taken into action. Please. And for me, lastly, is that, Mr. President, thank you very much for sending the Vice President or the part of the delegation. We want to see Mr. President here. When he was campaigning, the agenda around security were about 3 or 4 cardinal issues. Apart from the issues of enhancing security, we look at the issue of protection of rights and properties, issue of the specialized force to deal with banditry and terrorism, and the issues of local policing within the context of your communities. Those things is when do you want to put them into action at the end of his tenure?
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Gordon, for taking us on the ride. Our viewer and our listener, please don't go anywhere. We'll be coming back after this short time out.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion? How was your...
I was the head boy in my primary school, senior prefect and best graduating student in my secondary school, but drug abuse almost ruined my life.
I was on an average of 2 grams of cocaine per day.
I was taking 8 ampoules of pentazosine daily.
European shisha, cocaine.
I became a user, a dealer, and a gangster.
I saw other users drowning. I knew I didn't want to be like them, but I was already trapped.
My family disowned me.
My employment was terminated.
I sold my car, sold my house. I'll go out well-dressed and return shoeless, shirtless in exchange for drugs.
I was seeing things that were not real, and I once stabbed myself because I felt something crawling under my skin.
I contacted NDLEA and started therapy.
I spent 3 months in therapy.
I spent 8 months.
It's easy to relapse, but your mind has to be stronger than the cravings.
Drugs does not love you. You are not the one using drugs. Drugs are the one using you. Say no to drug abuse.
The Financial Services Regulation Coordinating Committee, FSRCC, in collaboration with the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, wishes to draw the attention of the public to the worrisome increase in the activities of illegal financial operators, IFOs, which threaten public trust and the stability of the Nigerian financial system. The FSRCC and NBC hereby advises the general public to refrain from dealing with unlicensed financial operators who deceive individuals with unrealistically high investment returns. Make sure to verify the licensing status of such companies and schemes on this website. To report any suspicions of illicit financial activities, call 0700 225 5226, 0800 225 5226, or +234 817 665 6273. Let's work together to uphold the integrity of Nigeria's financial system. Announcer, FSRCC.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again.
With us on Unity 93.3 FM, Unity TV. It's Friday, and thank God it is, and it's the very last edition of Unity Train this very week, and of course, this very year. I'm talking about the year 2023, and that is the more reason we insist that Professor P.H. Bamayi should remain in the studio so that he would, on behalf of all the in-house analysts, say again and again another big thanks to our listener and our viewer and, of course, our callers on this platform. He'll be saying that I think I should give him that opportunity to say it now, because the tempo with which the conversation is driving at is not that which probably would allow us to say this even at the end of the program. So why don't we just let Prof say this even now before we just tune to.
Thank you, Kobe.
Yes.
Viewers and listeners, good morning to you. If you're in other parts of the world, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching us from on Unity TV. For us here on the hills of ZINARIYA, Jos City, Nigeria, it's a beautiful morning. And please stay tuned to 93.3 FM radio and Unity TV. I will be continuing on this fantastic ride that is taking us to a fantastic destination.
All right, thank you so much. And in the studio is Mr. Godwin, and he's been talking about security issues on the plateau. Well, at some point, this is a very sensitive topic. You know, when you talk so much about this, people tend to wonder, why is it now? Why should it be now? It's not about now. And as an issue, we have to be all out to talk about it and then trust God for what we must do, what you must do and I must do to bring an end to all of this. It's about Mangu today, right? Who knows where next it will be? And so it was other places then, and now Mangu. So please, before it becomes something all of us will be consumed, let's talk about it so that the end of it will come. And so I'll just give him, Mr. Godwin, please, what's the way forward? You've made us feel that there's a big problem, there's a big issue.
For me, the way forward is very clear.
Okay.
The one that I understand that the security agencies don't seem to have a clear demography of the context of Plateau in terms of the communities and all that. It's time to sit down with the locals and have a clear understanding of this. One, two, what are the early warning signs in place? What are the measures put in place to address those early warning signs? We shouldn't be reactive at all time. Preventive measures are very important. And then again, I will say to community people that the security agencies, they are not magicians. It means that without the support of the community, the kind of information they will need to ensure that they prevent and ensure safety of community of lives as well as lives and properties, they need our help. We need to work collaboratively in this regard. And also, I want to also say that it's very important for the security sector to have to re-strategize.
Okay.
What have they been doing in the last 12 years on the Plateau that is not giving the expected results? Why are they still here on the Plateau? This is not a conventional warfare in the first place. This is, in the first place, in the standard democratic practice, we don't need the presence of the military.
Okay.
We only need the presence of police to handle such things, except we have external aggression. Okay. Then they can be invited. But they have stayed too long, too comfortable. It's no longer, just it's not barracks. No part of, the barracks are there. Okay. We just need them to say to themselves, what have we not done well in the last few years?
Okay.
What do we need to do well? Re-strategize, come up with new ideas. Again, enhance coordination with sister security agencies, police, DSS, civil defense corps, and all what have you, including even Operation Rainbow. How can they leverage also on the opportunities, on the availabilities of young men across various villages and communities that are serving as vigilante groups, voluntary uniform organizations? How can they leverage to work with them, collaborating beyond the propaganda around saying we are working with these guys? No. How can they work collaboratively with them? Again, how can we deal with politicians that are taking advantage of faulty lines in our ethnicity or religion? You understand? To divide the people. How can we begin to deal with this kind of individuals? People that speaks anyhow, make rhetoric without evidence to back it up. It's time to begin to draw and arrest people who we are certain that their utterances are part of the things that are adding fuel to this. Don't spare anyone. Impunity gives rise to violence. And where there is impunity, there is lawlessness. This is the reality about it. And so we need to sit down. But beyond that, while we're dealing with the security aspect of it, it's a stick and carrot approach. The government must convey dialogues. It's very important at all levels. There are grievances. What are the grievances? What I have said it before, that whatever are your grievances, it cannot justify killing in any form, especially women and children, for God's sake. So convey dialogues, a stakeholders dialogue, map it out with actionable point. Please, this is not a kind of dialogue for political gatherings. No, it's not propaganda. Bring in the experts, sit down with them, map out the things, and draw out actionable point to address these things. We remember the model that the Simon Lalong administration adopted in addressing the challenges in Basa local government. I can tell you, between the Rivers and the Fulani, the model was quite helpful. It was not the government only facilitated enabling environment. The two parties came together, looked into the issue, and came up with actionable points. The next thing is implementation. How and whether those implementations are taking place is another challenge of it. And this means that government must keep to his word also in terms of the provisions of the things that he has also assured the community. So why will sit down on one, the other side? On the other side, government also need to sit down with non-state actors. The international committees are working. The NGOs are working. They have strong peace structures at various community levels. How can they leverage on those peace structures and strengthen them? Because those peace structures provide platforms for dialogue, for those honest conversations. And as they talked about that, then we must establish the nexus between peace building and development, because the gaps in development also fuel the challenges that we are facing, and then we address it.
Okay.
You understand? And then lastly, not to take too much of our time, we look at issues of what? Livelihoods. The increasing number of our youth unemployment is skyrocketing and it's scary. Where are the opportunities? I'm not talking about the kind of empowerment the politicians or institutions of government comes give somebody 25,000, 30,000 naira to go and do what? Even like the mom is out there flying akara. How much do they need this period of time with the inflation in our country? Can we come up with structurable economic empowerment programs? Can we provide opportunities for job employment? The governor have been traveling. We are hoping that those foreign investors can also come, but nobody will come when the atmosphere is not safe. Can we allow Plateau peace for a while? And let's see how we can leverage on that and empower our young people, both male and female. What also can government do at her own level to support those mothers out there, from Angoro Kubwa to Alikazoro to Gadabu to Daidunkowa, those mothers out there who are into petty trade and the inflation is added, their business are not doing well. Can we support them at that level as well?
Okay.
These things need to be dealt at different phases, but above all, we must apply honesty to it.
Honesty.
As we're dealing with those things, we're also dealing with the criminal aspect of it. Crime is crime. Those involved should be arrested and prosecuted.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, you made mention of Basa's case. Okay, what should be done in order to sustain the peaceful coexistence, relative, so to say again, in Basa?
Let me tell you, I must appreciate the Irigwe Nation and also the Fulani community in Basa local government. Do you think that after the signing of that agreement there have not been one pocket of issues? There are. But the abilities of the stakeholders involved to always communicate, have an open and honest communication is key.
Okay.
And we must also appreciate the efforts of the youths, especially the youth movements. The effort they have put into ensuring that these agreements are reached and are sustainable and are also respected. But beyond that, those 70 agreements, there were also the commitment that government has made on her part.
So,
government is a continuity. The Caleb Movement administration looked into those actionable points that were agreed by the 16-man committee. What are those issues that they agreed to be done? Government to begin to implement them. NGOs are already supporting some of those structures already around some of those advocacy and dialogue platforms to be continued. Can they look at it also? And then there are also other committees set up by Operation Safe Haven. How can they collaborate, work in synergy to see that those things, if not, again, if not, we may experience something different again. Because if things continue and also people are not seeing the honesty of government, it's not about who started it. It's a process. And was the process respected? Yes. Is the process transparent? Yes. These are localized process. Government currently should look at it, support the Plateau Peace Building Agency. I'm even wondering why up to now we still don't have the DG of the Plateau Peace Building Agency. We should have it in place. Long before now. It's a very critical agency of government, receiving support across all board. And it's time to set up somebody respected to carry on all those missions. Joseph Langman has done his part and did a great job. And so we're hoping that somebody should build from there. So those actionable points agreed by the Basa committee, the 16-man woman committee, it is time to support them at all levels to implement those actions. But lastly, to say that the act of building a peaceful plateau, a safe, secure plateau, is a collective responsibility. All of us have a role to play, and we must be honest to those rules. Thank you.
Thank you. Before I put on the studio line, I'm sure, Prof, I might be wrong, but I feel you have to say something.
Absolutely. We have to keep talking about security. You know, I've been shouting about some of these issues. When these criminals attack our communities, and the army comes, repel them, and then go back, that is not a good strategy. We've used the same strategy 10 years, 14 years, 15 years. This terrorists know the strategy of the military. They know that the military will just pursue and go back. Isn't it high time that our security forces follow these criminals to the ends of the earth? I mean, if this community is attacked, for example, and our security forces come, and these criminals are escaping, what stops the soldiers from pursuing them to the ends of the earth? Are the military telling me that the terrorists are stronger than our soldiers? If the terrorists can run across the border, enter into other states, go to other places, what stops the soldiers from following them? Let them follow them, let them not come back. Even if it means that they die in pursuit of these terrorists. That is the vow they have taken to protect the citizens of this country and the territorial integrity of this nation. So they should not stop. The problem has always been that when they pursue these terrorists, they will just go and stop at a certain place and come back. Why? What for? Why are you coming back? I mean, if you are serious about fighting terrorism, you don't stop. If they cross and get to Niger State, follow them. If they are on foot, you also have foot. They have feet, you have feet. Keep following them, don't stop. Because the terrorists, they are not spirits, they are humans like us. As they are running, they are not eating, they are thirsty. You also, you are hungry, you are thirsty, keep following them, don't stop. I mean, we need to come up with a new strategy. This strategy of repelling, we've repelled the attack, and then we come back and relax. Yesterday I was listening to the military spokesperson, and he was trying to give excuses for why it took them hours to respond, that they did not understand the terrain of the environment. I mean, those are flimsy excuses. You've been around for how many years? And you've not understood the terrain? And some of these killers are foreigners, they know the terrain of your own country more than you. I mean, it's very shameful. He should not even have said anything at all. He should have just kept quiet. And they received more than 30 distress calls, he said. But to respond, they were extremely very slow. And that is why I've been saying on this platform that, look, as long as the government keeps handling issue of security with kid gloves, we will still be going back to square one. I mean, by now, fire all those commanders. They should have lost their jobs, all of them. None of them should be occupying the positions they're occupying. Fire all of them, make an example. The next person there will sit up. But these people are relaxed because they know that nothing will happen to them. And they know that people will die. They will just come and say, okay, we'll do something about it. And nothing will happen. And they're not sitting up. The chief of army staff is not sitting up. The chief of defense staff and all the rest of it, they're not sitting up. Killings across the country, and they're still occupying their positions, relaxed, enjoying themselves, and they're still sleeping in their homes peacefully. I mean, how can you sleep knowing that Nigerians are being killed every day, and that the security of the citizens of this country has been entrusted to your hands? How do you sleep? I don't understand how our leaders are able to sleep every night. And that is why we're talking that we need action, not just words. We've been hearing words over and over again, words. The president by now sack the chief of army staff, sack the chief of defense staff, sack the chief of air staff, sack all of them, sack the commander of Operation Safe Haven, sack all of these people. Show us that you are serious, you mean business, because they are not bringing the needed resource. How long are we going to continue to repel terrorists and come back? What are the soldiers doing sitting in the barracks? What are the police doing staying in the barracks? Go to the barracks now and see how many soldiers are staying in the barracks idle, maybe playing what or snooker and other things, you know, while people are dying. The government needs a change of strategy. We need to have a government that is serious, that is concerned about the security and the welfare of the citizens. Remember, the quote I just read from the Constitution of Nigeria. The security and welfare of the people of Nigeria shall be the primary responsibility of government.
Thank you so much. And now our studio line is booting is 0703235315. And you can also drop your comments on our Facebook page. Just go Unity FM Radio /TV Jaws, or on YouTube is streamed live Unity FM TV. And for SMS 0808-478-9999 for SMS. Already just call, tell me your name, your locations. Go straight in a minute. Let's have your submission. Please, no name calling. Defamatory statements will not be tolerated here. And remember also, comments made on these platforms are not in any way the position of Unity 93.3 FM. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Your name?
Yeah, it's Abraham Douglas. I'm calling from Tudunwada.
All right. In a minute, please.
Yeah, just like the prof has said. He said, we want to know the grievances of the people who are carrying on this attack. We want to go on dialogue. I don't think this is a moment that calls for dialogue. Because there is no grievances that justifies taking the life of another person. So this is a time that calls for action. Because we could recall, for example, when similar attacks took place in Rokobaros a couple of months back, serious response from the government.
All right.
We see helicopters flying overhead. We saw soldiers and policemen deployed from all over, from all the states in the country. People would know that something happened. And between a short period of time, they began to announce that series of arrests have been made.
Okay.
And we saw this. So why is it that similar incidents have happened where hundreds of people have been killed? And now the government is telling us we don't know who are carrying out this attack. There have not been a single arrest of the perpetrators of this action. This calls for questions.
All right,
and
thank
so
you.
I want to call on the federal government. It is time to act.
All right.
Because there has not been an expression of anger in their voices.
Thank you.
In this regard, we could see what happened in France, for example, a couple of years during the reign of Nicolas Sarkozy as the president of France. Two people attacked the news media. They shot dead some journalists because of a cartoon.
Oh, thank you.
People, the whole France was filled up. They called the whole country for just two people, and they were able to get the people within a short period of time.
All right.
Why is it that a large number of people carried out an attack, and our government is telling us they cannot make an arrest?
Thank you, Mr.
Doesn't
Douglas.
that sound some kind of outrage? So I think it is time for government to stand up and act.
Mr. Douglas.
What we need is action. And every Nigerian should
Mr.
be
Douglas,
confined,
thank you
because
so much.
nobody knows who is going to be the next victim.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Douglas. And on Facebook, good morning, Kobe and the Prof. I sincerely want to appreciate the peace-loving people of Plateau State and anyone who speak for peace by understanding and differential crimes and politics from the religion. Also, at first, let us know and put it in our hearts. We are all human beings before God Almighty. Let's treat ourselves as human beings, because if we can not respect our value, humanity, when we can appreciate God Almighty. Please let us be brothers, keepers, and be peace ambassador anywhere, anytime across the nation. Thank you. You at Ismail Isa Jos. Thank you, Ismail. Hello. Okay, 070323533315 is the studio line. Another one on Facebook, it's great to hear that Unity FMs and their guests are providing unbiased analysis and not taking side in the crisis. It's important to have a platform that promotes peace, the escalations of this crisis and the well-being of the people. Open and fair conversations can help bring about understanding and political, potential solutions to the challenges at hand. Thank you, Ahmad Magawat. Thank you. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Mr.
Thank you. Your name and location, please.
I'm Mr. from Bauchi.
All right, go on in a minute.
I feel like looking to the front and the gate to the house.
Is all right, then. Thank you.
What I want to talk is about this issue of one woman that killed a man in Kano State.
It's okay. So what's your question?
Sir, you see this issue of this killing of men here and there by women is so heartbreaking, because even if I can remember just a few years ago, one man and Sandra killed her husband.
Okay.
And just a month or 2 months ago, one just about to kill her husband. And the world is silent. Nobody's talking about it.
Thank you.
Then, let's say for instance, if you say this guy that just killed a man in Kano, if you say it's a man that killed a woman, by now, the heaven will have fallen or cracked. But now I see not any action taken, but human rights, the NGO organization, and the organization of feminists, all of those, they are more up because of the man that was killed.
All right.
So
Thank you.
I'm going to play like this. I have to say, I love the land always, even when they commit crime or what.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Thank you for calling, and thank you for raising an angle of conversation there. This one is saying, Kubi, Prof. B and Kubi and the guests are absolutely correct. We shall be inevitable, be judged by the people and prosperity. Today is a time to pray for peace, unity, progress, and stability. Ya Allah, guide us to serve you and humanity. Remember, today the soil is under you. Tomorrow it will be over you. Why walking with pride on earth? By Hassan Garba. Thank you, Hassan Garba. I think this is the last call for today. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Thank you. Your name and location.
Good morning. My name is Baba. I am calling from West Africa.
Go on in a minute, please.
Thank you, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy New Year in advance.
Same to you.
I would like to advise you, sir. Keep on saying the truth, sir. And then, inshallah, it will work for us.
Amen.
I wish you all the best, sir.
Thank you so much. Okay, Baba, thank you for calling. Good morning to our lecturers on radio. May God bless you all. About the peace on the plateau, I want government to involve Professor Bameyi to get advice on peace, and all of you, the above, to involve such people, not only politicians from Aliyu Maza. Thank you, Aliyu Maza, suggesting that our guests in the studio today, even profs too, should be one of the teams to give Okay, good morning, Kubi and Professor Bameyi and the guests in the house. Honestly, it's awful and disheartening that since 2001, innocent people are being killed. I don't know how we got here. I remember with nostalgia, how we used to live peacefully with one another, Christians and Muslims. What happens? Please, it's time we begin to accept, respect, and tolerate each other, irrespective of religion or ethnicity, and embrace peace. Without peace, there will be no development. Government and the security personnel should up their game and do the needful. Jama'atu Barak to my Muslims brothers and sisters. Peace is priceless. Let's live in peace. Happy New Year in advance to all and sundry. God bless Nigeria. Christy Izan from Rukubaro. Thank you, Christy Izan. I think that's the much that we can take. But finally, good morning, gentlemen, in the studio, and a Happy New Year in advance. I call on all platoonians to come together, irrespective of tribe or religions, and condemn this madness of killings in some communities of Plateau State. The people responsible for this madness are heartless and have no fear of God at all, and we pray the Almighty Allah to disgrace and destroy them together with their sponsors and all those supporting them. Muhammad Tajuddin from Naraguta. Oh, thank you. Your final words, Mr. Governor.
Yeah, just to ask that those affected directly by this, that God keeps strengthening them this difficult period. I have seen the wide range of condemnation from His Eminence, the Sultan of Sokoto, the National Khan Chairman. I've seen from State Khan Chairman, from Jama'atu Nasrul Islam in Plateau. Amazingly, I've also seen from Fina, which is the Plateau Initiative for the Advancement of the Natives. I've seen from Magban, Mieti Allah Katubri Association, the Plateau. So you can see that everyone is out in condemnation.
Thank you.
And I want to say that those voices that we have all brought on board, it's quite appreciated. That going forward, as part of the strategy to ensure that we prevent this from reoccurring, is that all those voices should be added now, put together, and begin to put pressure on the federal, state, and the local governments at all levels to ensure the protections of life and properties at all communities. Enhancement of security architecture across all those communities is very key. But above all things, to say again that the act of a secured, safe, peaceful Plateau is our collective responsibility. Let all play our role.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Godwin.
Yeah, thank you, Kubi. I don't want our people to be discouraged. We must not give up. The times are challenging, times are hard, times are difficult. Remember, tough times don't last. It is tough people that do. Please, don't give up. Winners don't quit. Quitters don't win. Don't worry. Things will not continue like this forever. There is a ray of light at the end of the tunnel. Let's be resolute. Let's join hands together to fight terrorism. Terrorism has no tribe. Terrorism has no religion. Terrorism affects everybody. And so all of us must join hands together, and fight terrorism to an end. For our federal government and state government and politicians, the time for action is now, and now, and now. Enough of rhetorics, enough of talking, enough of making promises. Let's see action. Action before you talk. Act first before you talk. And for all of us, be the change that you want to see in the world.
Thank you so much for always staying tuned. And this is the end of it for this week and for this year. I love you all. Have yourself a lovely day. I wish you a prosperous new year. Bye-bye.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you.